Let's see what watching a trailer for 30 straight minutes, remembering everything about games you've played over the last 30 years of your life, and reading a wiki about movies you will never ever fucking watch as I try to break down this Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite trailer. Because let's just say this before I hit play on this damn trailer and try to tell you what the fuck is going on. This shit is nuts! This shit is nuts. I'm like, I am excited. So I'm going to quit the bullshit. I'm finna hit play on this trailer, dog, and we are going to try to break this down, man. I'm gonna try my damnedest to try to show you what's going on here. So I'm gonna let the little intro play, let it do all that. It's Mega Man Action Ryu. And on the other side, Carol Danvers and Tony Stark. Stop! This right here. At this point in the trailer, we see X do a combo and then he tags in Ryu. This is very reminiscent of the quick switch mechanic that was supposed to be in Marvel 3 but got left on the cutting room floor. If you go to the cutting room floor, because that's why I mentioned it, because I needed to remember that, there are like codes and ways to hack that back into the PS3 version, so you can see how that works. The thing is, with our first little piece of, I read this on a wiki trying to make sense of how this game, flows into Marvel shit, is that one of the stones that you will not be allowed to use as a playable character is the Space Stone. Because the Space Stone is represented by this quick switch mechanic, which is prevalent all throughout the trailer, because if you notice, anytime someone uses the quick switch mechanic, they glow blue. Guess what color the Space Stone is? See? Making sense of this already. I guess I can continue now. Up and here's the thing. Stop again. There were two switches, a launcher, and then a super. There is no way, even with this being linked to the Space Stone, there's no way that they don't cost meter. Whether that's a full meter, because that would make sense, because that's how much variable air raids cost in Tatsunoko. And if you don't know what a variable air raid is that during an air combo, you can quest, it's quarter circle forward, and the partner button does a variable air raid, and what it does is that it tags in the other character. Great for one of my teams with being my boo Jun and of course Zero, but we'll get more into that later. So back to the trailer now. Iron Man with this combo. What you see, and stop again. The combo we just went past was that combo that Miss Marvel did into that command grab, into that wall splat, and then she went down. It looks like these quick switches, which are represented by the Space Stone, which may or may not actually be versions of the variable air raid or whatever the hell they're calling this mechanic. But it seems that characters may possibly be slightly invincible during these quick switch tags. It may be very possible, because that may be what the aura around them represents, their invincibility time after using a mechanic like that. So again, as I would say, and I will continue to say this because it's what I believe at the moment, is this is something that has to cost meter. So we're going to go back, and someone's going to feel the full power of a full inhibitor. And wow, I'd show you this picture, but I'm too lazy. But that's quite a ball sack there, Tony. Continue, please. On to, there's the thing. This combo with Ryu that I just stopped on is that this combo was done in the middle of a tag, even though you don't see it, because Ryu was glowing blue like the Space Stone, and we already talked about that with this new quick switch mechanic, which we yet not know the name of. Back to the Shin Shoryuken, please. Kang! Miss Marvel, just like In Tatsunoko versus Capcom, just like in Tatsunoko versus Capcom, you can do a level 1 and then press the partner button, and then you can expend it and do a level 3. So, back to the trailer. That's the next proton cannon. Here's your use of the Infinity Stone. Ryu uses the power Infinity Stone. Now, for what it looks like, at least in this early gameplay, is that even though he does activate a mid combo as you would like a V trigger currently in Street Fighter V, is that it's already glowing purple. So that must mean that possibly that gems are active. That gem, I'm gonna call them gems because it's like I'm just so used to Marvel superheroes. Is that stones may be possible to be picked up, but then once they're activated, you can activate them once in a combo, or either you can keep expending it. But it's like it seems that the combos work like Baroque when you activate an Infinity Stone, because that's the thing that makes sense. Whether or not activation and the powers in using them are related to red lights as Baroque was in Tatsunoko versus Capcom is unknown at the moment. But it does seem that you do get a free mid combo cancel off of the activation of an Infinity Stone. Ryu, you can finish your combo now. 1, 2, 3. Still got that Hadouken though. Let's stop it right here. Miss Danvers is about to use the Time Infinity Stone. The thing is that I'm not sure if stones work the way they did in Marvel Superheroes. Because in Marvel Superheroes, you couldn't like do a combo and then activate a gem and then continue the combo. You activated gems in neutral. That you were in neutral, and then you can do, because what was it? Quarter circle back 2 punches is what activated an Infinity Gem in Marvel Superheroes. What the command is in this game, I don't know. Hell, given the way that Capcom makes fighters and shit, it may just be a damn button just to make it easier for people to deal with. Like, yo, there's an Infinity Stone button, press it. So, Miss Danvers, your combo, please. 1, 2, 3, super. Stop. I don't know. Well, actually, I probably do and probably can make this assumption. Is that Carol did a teleport. And, you know, her being Captain Marvel, she can probably teleport on her own, and that may be a movement trait of hers. The question that I do have, and the only question that actually I have questions at this point because the trailer's pretty much over. So you know what? Before I answer my questions, I might as well let Carol finish her combo. Go ahead, girl. Shoot him with that beam. And now the trailer's over. So now here are the questions that I have. How are stones activated? Not sure. Not sure at all. Do not know. Do not know how stones are activated in any way. It's like, because in that one scene where Ryu was already in a field full of purple aura, is that trying to figure out how stones work in this case is really hard because we don't have enough to go on. Because if you notice in the trailer, if you watch it back on your own time, is that Carol when she activates the time stone, it's green energy instead of the purple when Ryu activated the power Infinity Stone. But is it you pick up a stone and then it activates itself and then you get a free activation mid combo? Because if you remember how X Factor used to be like when the game was still, when Marvel 3 was still making the round before it came out, how X Factor like exponentially changed before we got to the final product, is that I guarantee that this won't be the same. It's like, I don't know if you really can have a game like Marvel Superheroes where gems are controlled like that. So I don't know if gems are a thing that you select at the character select screen, because if it is, then that introduces a metagame aspect to matching teams with an affinity stone of your choice. With my assumption that space is off the table, because I'm making the assumption that space is what allows characters in the game to do the quick switch mechanic, which we have no idea what it is that the other stones and what they could possibly do is unsure. So, the other major question I do have, because of the Tatsunoko versus Capcom vibes that I'm getting, is does everybody have an air dash? Because that was a trait that all non-giant characters in Tatsunoko vs. Capcom had. Everybody had an air dash. Is that, yeah, you would expect X to have an air dash, because at some point in this video game he got a dash in the air. Captain Marvel and Iron Man fly. Ryu didn't do one thing in the damn air, so it's unknown at the moment if air dashing is a universal mechanic. But given the nuts that this game is doing, I really think that air dashing as a universal mechanic is a thing that makes sense, and it's something that should be used. And given that as well, is that the roster that they choose will have, but it's like, but we're talking about Tatsunoko for the Capcom, like Alex had a damn air dash in that game. So if I was sitting up here thinking like, well, you could make decisions on, nah, you ain't gotta make no decision. Give everybody an air dash, because this game is so nuts, you're probably going to want to do that. I'm feeling the game. It's just that simple. It's that, like I said earlier in the many myriad of videos I've put out in the past 24 hours, is that a reboot makes sense. A reboot makes sense given where Marvel has come from, where Capcom wants to go, and revisiting where the Marvel Cinematic Universe currently is when it deals with the Infinity Stones, is that you give it a way to try to throw it back to the classics of everything preceding Marvel 2, including Marvel superheroes, where this game is getting a lot of its inference from. This is going to be a fun ride to sit up here and watch this happen. I'm probably still going to go dark. I'm not going to be paying my stupid motherfuckers no attention, but I am going to be paying close attention, and this game and I will be getting very, very, very intimate as I try to sit up here and try to figure out what's what until somebody gives the word about what's really good. So the TLDR of this whole video is the following. Is air dashing the universal mechanic? Is the space stone off the table given the game's quick switch mechanic? How does activation of stones work within the confines of this game? And how much of TVC's legacy is going to be in this game that they're going to build off of? Because you have to assume at this point, if it's 2-on-2, you have to wonder, are they really going to go 4-button with it? Are they really going to go low, medium, high? Are they going to go low, medium, high, and a partner button? Or will there be a stone activation button? Or will you activate it with all 4 buttons like X Factor? I'm very, very, very unsure about all of these questions, but I am interested to understand where this game wishes to go. I think that's about this trailer, and all I can glean from it is that this game looks amazing. And it's like this is the game in pre-whatever the fuck you want to call this. But this game is going to be amazing. So this is everything that I could glean from this trailer. That I've been on the mic for 15 minutes for a trailer that lasts a total of 1:04. So that really goes to tell you like how much thought went into this before I fucking hit record. That should tell you that all the stuff I went and read about the Infinity Stones and shit. I ain't watched the Marvel Cinematic movie and probably never will, because I don't fucking care enough. I had to remember I had to play a little bit of Marvel Superhero for like 5 seconds to make sure that I understood how the Infinity Gems worked in that game. I had to sit up here and remember all my knowledge about Tatsunoko vs. Capcom and Ultimate Marvel to a lesser degree to try to put all of this together. Because that's how important it is to me to want to find out what's going on. It's going to be a million of these tomorrow, but I don't know if people trying to get into this dirt tonight. So if I get in front of it don't even matter. I'm finna say something about being ahead of the curve. Fuck that curve. The curve can suck my dick. I do what I want to when I want to. Fuck what everybody else doing. Because if I gave a fuck about what everybody else doing, imagine where I'd be. Probably in a lot better state than this, but at least I can go look myself in the mirror when I get done, I guess. Regardless of all that, whatever the fuck that was. Enjoy this new treat we got, internet, please. Because I am. So, I'm finna go ahead. I'm going to get this trailer to you. I have a feeling we ain't quite done talking about this. Because Jay has some thoughts. So, I'll give him, if he got something he want to say, I'll get him on the mic and we'll talk about it, man. Yo, been dropping knowledge all day long. So, we talked about the PlayStation Experience today. I got my Ruby in. I talked about the history of the Versus series. And what else did I put out? And we talked about and me and Jay talked about our thoughts about Hero vs. Alien. So we got a lot of stuff popping off, man. And it's like, yo, TLC tomorrow, man. So I got a lot more to say before it's all said and done. So with that being said, I am of course the one and the only, the triple, the G.O.D. And I'd like to thank you for joining me for another installment of Triple the Guy Speaks On. And with that, I'll house you guys next time, man. Peace out. One more thing, because I always seem to forget something when I do this stuff. Here's an interesting thought to walk away with that I just thought about. Will characters have special gems like they did in Marvel Superheroes? Because if you don't remember the mechanics of Marvel Superheroes, is that certain characters had special abilities when they activated certain gems. Like, I remember when you activated the Space Stone with either Juggernaut or Magneto, it gave them their superpowers from X-Men Children of the Atom. I remember when Spider-Man uses the Power Gem, it gives him it lets him do versions of custom combos and things like that. So it'll be interesting to wonder and know if that teleport that Carol did, is that something she can only do when she activates the Time Gem? Is that her preferred gem? Is Ryu doing a Baroque-like cancel in the middle of a combo something special he can only do when he's activated the Power Gem? See, stuff that I should say in the original video in the first place. Stuff like this. So that's something for you to think on, internet. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to act as an add-on to the video. And again, I'd like to thank you once again for joining me on this quest of trying to break down a minute and 4 trailer in about 17 minutes. So with that being said, of course, once again, I am the one and the only, the triple, the G.O.D. And I'd like to thank you for joining me for another installment of Triple the Guy Speaks On. And with that, I'll see you guys next time, man. Peace out.